Helen Waitley's here. She's Shadow Department for Work and Pensions Secretary. Helen, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's a pretty sorry, sad state of affairs, isn't it, where benefit claimants can actually make more money than people going to work. It's not much of an incentive for them to get off the benefits.
Yeah, we need to have a system where work pays and where it makes sense for people to work rather than be on benefits. I mean, it's something we did when we were in government during the period from 2010 through to the pandemic, is we did big reforms about making work really pay, and we brought down the level of unemployment, halved it from 8% to 4%, but something that we then saw since the pandemic is an increase of people claiming sickness benefits, and that is something that needs to be got under control. Even the government have said that they need to control the growth in the welfare bill, which is on its way up to 100 billion by the end of this decade. But if you've been watching Parliament over the last couple of weeks, which I know you have, you'll have seen that Labour tried to make savings, but then a series of U-turns conceding to their backbench MPs resulted, instead of their legislation on welfare making savings, it actually is going to end up costing more, putting the welfare bill up. And that's why today Kemi Badenoch's going to be making a speech talking about how we need to make savings from the welfare budget.
Yeah, because it seems now, because of the sort of the cock-up, if you like, that there was last week in Parliament, where it got so watered down the bill really wasn't worth the paper it was written on, they've kind of made it impossible now to have the conversation, because Labour backbenchers seem to say that almost everyone who's on benefits deserves to be on those benefits and they shouldn't have them taken away.
So it is going to be hard to make savings from benefits, and I wouldn't shy away from that. Of course, we do want to have a system that those who are seriously disabled deserve help. That's what most people think. The problem with our system at the moment is there are people who could be working but who instead aren't and are on benefits. Now, as you said, Labour messed up over the last few weeks, and what was meant to be some savings, not enough in the first place, ended up being spending more money. It's clear that Keir Starmer's backbenchers won't let him make savings, and that's heading the country towards a very difficult financial position. In fact, the OBR, which is like the government's independent financial advisor, literally said this week that the UK public finances are very vulnerable. It's very serious because of this failure to make welfare savings. Yeah. And it looks like Keir Starmer's going up putting up taxes in the autumn, which is the last thing the country needs, because what you get is essentially a doom loop of taxes going up, unemployment going up, taxes going up again to cover the extra costs of welfare for unemployment, and that doom loop then of the opposite of what we need, when what we need is savings to be made and the country to live within its means. And we, the Conservatives, are the only party making that case. Say Labour voted for more welfare spending, Reform is calling and indeed voting for more welfare spending. We're the ones who are standing apart saying, no, we've got to get this under control and live within our means.
But you said you didn't want to be too specific, or you didn't want to shy away from exactly how you would make those welfare savings, because clearly something's got to give. You know, you've either got to take a view that people are claiming too much sickness benefit, or you're going to have to say that they're all entitled to it. So at some point or other, presumably, you have to put the bar somewhere and deny it to some people.
Actually, so I won't shy away at all from saying how. So that's something that Kemi Badenoch is going to set out later today in a speech that she's making on welfare. We're going to talk exactly about how, starting with who should be receiving benefits. We're in a situation where around 1 in 4 people in this country are declaring themselves as disabled. Now, if that means 1 in 4 people saying that they believe they should be having benefits and not working, we clearly can't afford that as a country. So we need to focus on who should get benefits. And one of the things we're saying is people who we don't think should be on out of work benefits are people who are claiming because they have a common mental health or well-being problem, like anxiety as an example, or ADHD. Another area we're saying is actually we don't think foreign nationals should be able to come over here and claim sickness benefits straight away. So that's another area which Kemi will set out, which needs to be brought under control. We also know that we need to go back to having face-to-face assessments. A lot of the assessments have moved to being telephone. That's not a good way of assessing people's needs. So actually we are being quite specific about how these savings could and should be made.
Yeah. And in terms of actual sort of the way forward for people who are just on what you might call universal credit, you know, as the examples being put out there today on the front pages by the Telegraph and the Mail, you know, how would you counter that? You know, because there are people on minimum wage who might be thinking to themselves, well, why am I bothering to work?
Yeah, and it is really important to make sure that being in work pays better than being on benefits, including universal credit. I mean, that was the way the system was designed, and it was actually a big reform to introduce that. Another thing is to make sure that people's wages are going up in work, and that's something that we would like to see the government and Department of Work and Pensions doing more on. It's people not only earning the minimum wage but making progress in their careers. It's something that I worked on when I was social care minister, for care workers to be able to advance up a kind of a career ladder and do more and earn more during the course of their lifetime in work. So that's a really important part of fixing the problem.
Yeah, Hannah Whately, thank you very much indeed. Shadow Department for Work and Pensions Secretary, saying Kemi Badenoch later on today is going to be announcing what she would do to bring the welfare bill down. You have to say the Conservative Party probably quite well responsible during COVID, certainly, for putting the welfare bill up, because that's when it seems to have absolutely ballooned. But of course, I think we found out, did we not, that thousands more people are claiming disability benefits now on welfare than they were even just this time last year, because an awful lot of the claims have doubled and tripled and quadrupled ever since Labour have been in.